Hey, it's Whitney from EcoVeganGal.com and welcome back to another Eco Vegan Gal Uncensored. This video is going to be in response to a response I received from my last video, which was called Education and Power Can Change the World. And wow, I received so many supportive responses. It's really incredible. I feel like the Eco Vegan Gal Uncensored channel has such a different energy to it than the main Eco Vegan Gal channel, and it's amazing. This is going to lead into some of the things I'm going to say in the next part of the video, but I just wanted to start off by letting you know that when I started this channel about 2 years ago, time flies, I just did it. I just kind of started at not knowing how anybody would respond to it, and I was kind of embarrassed by it at first because I felt so vulnerable and I was sharing things, and still to this day I don't publicize it very much. I've started to a little bit more, but it's been a very slow climb, and I guess, it's challenging to be vulnerable, and it's a whole new side of me. So I just want to first say that it means so much that you take the time to write comments and to let me know how you're feeling and what you're thinking and whether you agree or disagree. If you want to elaborate on something, it's really phenomenal. I read every single comment and try to respond. Sometimes I just don't know what to say as well, especially when people say thank you. I don't want to just say thank you in reply all the time. I really want all my responses to be super sincere, and it is sincere when I say thank you, but I don't want it to seem too repetitive or redundant, if that makes sense. So this is my thank you to you. I wanted to share with you a really incredible comment that I got, and this comes from somebody who has a new channel / I think maybe even a blog, I'm not entirely clear, called Penny Vegan, but her name is Sandra, or Sandra, depending on how you pronounce it. And here's what she had to say. She's 20 years old and has spent most of her life in Norway. As a kid, she used to be a dancer, but has been having problems with her joints and has had doctors her whole life tell her that this was incurable. Since she couldn't dance, she didn't stay very active and also did not eat very nutritional food. And when she was 18, she saw a documentary about how a vegan lifestyle could change your health. But it was hard to stop eating almost everything her family ate, so she didn't have the opportunity to do so. In fall 2013, she got accepted to a school in Hawaii, and it was a life-changing experience. Even though she had an unhealthy lifestyle almost her entire life, she was shocked to see how overly processed most of the food was in America, and she struggled to find cheap food that was not processed. It was her first time living on her own, and she decided to make a change. So in September 2013, she decided to stop eating meat and, as much as she could, all animal products. And she feels like most people probably don't recognize how hard it is socially and economically to stay away from all animal products because it is literally everywhere. Many people tell her that they don't have the strength to cut out animal products, and she believed it as well, and realizes that you have to be really passionate about it to make a great change. She's been vegetarian and a striving vegan for a while now. Anyways, that's kind of her background there, and she moves on to say that on March 1st, 2014, she decided that life was too short to spend all the time and money in school. She wasn't sure what to do and was unhappy when she was in school, so she decided to follow her heart and wanted to do something to help but didn't know what. So now she's traveling the world. She packed a little backpack, booked a one-way ticket to Australia with only carry-on luggage and unlimited time and destinations to travel to, which is brought her where she is now, which is Indonesia. This is incredible. I just love this story. She started traveling and backpacking because she figured that backpackers were the kind of people that understood something and didn't listen to society. But she saw that backpacker life was mostly just seeing as many countries in as little time as possible and drinking and partying every day. She's been traveling for 3 months now, trying to find people like her, people that are aware of her surroundings and want to make a change, but she hasn't met any, believe it or not. she really doesn't know what to do anymore. And this is where the question comes in. So I'll switch over from she to I. So I'm going to read directly. I don't know what to do anymore because I cannot do this alone. Ever since I started being a vegan, I have been alone in it, meaning none of my friends are vegan and no one in my family or no one that I know. And it's not easy, but I love the lifestyle, so I keep going. My question for you is, what can I do? Where in the world can I travel to meet people like me? Do you know anyone who would like to help me? I want to do so much for this world and make vegan food more available and make people more aware, but I don't know where to start. I feel like it's very awkward to make videos because I live in dorms, so I never have a room for myself, and I'm always surrounded by people. Please help me and give me some guidance. I feel so lost, and I don't know what to do anymore. And that's pretty much it. So she linked to me her Instagram account, and I love Instagram, so I instantly went over there and checked it out. And the first thing I noticed about Sandra, I like Sandra, so I'm going to go with that, is that she seems so radiant. There's all these pictures of her in beautiful places like the beach and eating foods like bananas and smiling, and she has beautiful hair. She's a beautiful woman outside, but also it's so radiant. And for being only 20 years old, I have to say that she has a maturity about her, a wiseness that is very clear and rare for someone her age. And she has this adventurous spirit. And this is really just me looking at her Instagram for a minute. And then I clicked on her Google Plus page, and that led me to her new YouTube channel, which is called Penny Vegan. And I don't know why she calls, I think that's, is that right? Hold on. Yes, The Penny Vegan. Okay. So I will link to that down below for all of you to check out, and as well as her Instagram, because I think you're going to love it as much as I do. So let me answer her question here. What can she do? Well, Sandra, you're already doing so much. You've got this incredibly inspirational Instagram. You have this brand new YouTube channel, and you have an incredible story. You're already doing so much just being where you are by traveling, because you're meeting so many people. That in itself is really can make a huge impact and is so unique. So I feel like you need to own the fact that you're doing a great thing right from the get-go. Where in the world can you travel to meet people like you? I think everywhere. When I think of traveling, the very first memory that comes to my head is when I was in college. I studied abroad, and part of my travels led me to Rome by myself. And I was, I think, 20 years old at the time, actually. And I remember thinking, wow, I cannot believe I'm going to Rome by myself and, taking trains by myself. It seemed crazy. I grew up in a small town and went to a small college. And so being in this foreign city all by myself just seemed nuts. But my very first night in Rome, and the whole experience in Rome, but just that the first few hours in Rome were absolutely magical. I could go on and on about the experience. And by the way, I wasn't vegetarian. This is right before I went vegetarian. I just remember I ended up at this hostel. It was late at night, and I walked in there, and I got the very last room. And as soon as I booked my hostel room, they told me that up on the top floor of the building, they were having a free dinner, as many hostels do. And I went up there all by myself in this foreign city and was just welcomed with open arms and beautiful energy by all these people. And I met people from Australia and all over the world. I interacted with people that lived in Rome and barely spoke English. And I remember just this sense of connection and love and respect, and people just opening their hearts and their minds. And I think that really happens when you're doing things like traveling, backpacking, just going around. So where can you meet more people like you? Everywhere. You just have to keep going out and talking to people until you meet them. Now, if you want to make it easier on yourself, it's usually easiest to connect through social media. There are great sites like meetup.com, which I talk about a lot. And this, I think meetup.com is across the world, but if it's not, find similar sites. There's sites like couch surfing. You can go couch surfing. Someone was just telling me a story the other day about this. A friend of a friend in Rome, actually. Wow, how funny. It just occurred to me. He ended up at a friend's, I don't remember how he met them, but I think they were friend to friend, and they said he was looking for a place to stay, and he just knocked on these new strangers' door, and they let him in, and they instantly bonded, and they've been friends ever since, and they were vegans. So it was a really cool story, and a great reminder of the fact that it's really not that hard. If you start reaching out, I bet you just doing this video, there might be someone in Rome watching, or Indonesia, or wherever you are. I don't know why I keep saying Rome, because you're not in Rome, at least not now. But, I could just simply mention it to people on YouTube, and somebody could say, hey, let's go meet up for a meal. Let's go have coffee or tea, or go have vegan food together, or whatever. I mean, it's really, really easy to meet people. So I don't think that's the challenge there. I think it's just feeling confident in it. Do I know anyone who would like to help you? The same note there would be, off the top of my head, well, I think the Eco Vegan Gal community, especially the uncensored community, is a great place to start. And the best thing we could do to help you is probably cheer you on right now, is follow you on your social networks and your YouTube channel, and comment with you, and start conversations. And that just leads to this domino effect. If it depends what type of help you need, you might want to think about doing some sort of online fundraising, or crowd funding, or whatever it's called, through Indiegogo, Kickstarter. I honestly think people are doing this a little too much right now. It's like literally every day someone brings up a Kickstarter or Indiegogo page, but I think that there are a lot more creative ways to get people to help and get involved. And you want to do more to make vegan food more available. I think traveling is phenomenal. And again, just starting these conversations. Maybe you want to start your own little business making food for other people, hosting potlucks, meetups, that sort of things. I mean, again, it starts with a few people and just expands and expands. As far as feeling like it's awkward to make videos, I saw your first video, and it was beautifully done. You weren't in a dorm, you were outside, you had great music, you had wonderful things to say. I think you're a natural at this, and I wouldn't feel so self-conscious. I feel like you've already got it. So just keep doing it, keep practicing. I get insecure sometimes about shooting without lighting and makeup and whatever, but I just sit down at the camera and talk from my heart, and people respond, and that's how we build this community here. It doesn't matter. I could have other people living with me, and it's really just being confident, saying, hey guys, I'm going to record a few-minute video. Don't mind me. You can do this with your iPhone, whatever mobile devices you have, your webcam like I do. Whatever it is you have, just find a quiet time to do it, or put on headphones and use the microphone attached to this, and it'll block off most of the audio. I've recorded plenty of videos in restaurants and food courts and public parks, at work. If you look at my history of recording videos, I've done them all over the place. At my parents', when I was living with boyfriends. I've never let that stop me, so I wouldn't recommend that you do either. I think that you know a lot more about what you want to do and how to get there than you realize. You have this confidence that is really evident through your photos, your video, through your written word, and I think if you just keep moving with it, it's going to work out. And this applies to everyone watching. I feel like one of the biggest things that holds people back is lack of confidence, and not realizing, as I mentioned in the last video, how much power we have as individuals. And all it just takes is feeling empowered. So it starts with being inspired, then comes some education, then feeling empowered about it, and just going out and doing something. And it's kind of taking that leap of faith and believing in yourself and your message. And that's really what got me to where I am today. I know that all of you can get there if you want to as well. And I think it's just a huge part of also connecting with the community. And we're so fortunate to have social media and YouTube and commenters on blogs and all of that. It's just amazing how far we can get if we really put our passion into it and we really become dedicated to something and we let go of all insecurities and feelings of awkwardness and all of that, because if you have something to say, the world needs to hear it, and you just gotta move through it no matter what. So I hope Sandra, however you pronounce your name, I hope this inspires you, and I hope everyone else watching feels the same way, because I think a lot of us are in the same boat here. I'm just so grateful for connecting with people like you and seeing how the word is getting out there. It really gets me really excited when I hear from people from other countries outside the US, because that's happening more and more, and it's incredible. I feel like the US is such a huge hub for veganism, it feels like, but we've got India and the UK are massive, and so many other parts of the country, and I think it's just this limited view of living here and not having or making the opportunity to travel as much. But I feel really inspired now. I love this concept of just going out with the backpack, especially what Sandra said here about backpackers being the type of people who, where was it here? Don't, understand something and don't listen to society. It's funny because I feel like I fit into that category, but the idea of just traveling with a backpack is like simultaneously exciting and also terrifying. I can't, like, going to Indonesia doesn't even occur to me, and someone invited me to go along with them to India recently, and there's Thailand and all of this, and it seems so daunting, but it's a great reminder that it's really not that hard. It's just saving up the money to buy that plane ticket and then making the time to go. It's hard to get out of the comfort zone. For me, that's a challenge. Why leave all of this where I'm comfortable and yeah, it's really just a comfort thing, I think. But I think some of the best changes in our life happen when we get out of our comfort zone, and traveling is one of the best ways to expand our horizons and grow on so many levels. So I need to do more of that. Definitely do. I need to branch out, and not just like the European cities. It's like Indonesia just sounds so cool, and Thailand and India. Just seeing what's happening in the rest of the world. Speaking of which, I'll leave you with this. One person I am continuously inspired by is my friend Emily Penn, and I'll link somewhere once I find where the best website is for her, but she was actually in an Apple ad, and I was just so blown away. She's been traveling around by boat and doing all these different ocean projects to raise awareness about what's happening in our oceans in terms of the environmental side of it. And it's just absolutely amazing. And every time I see what she's doing, I just can't imagine, let alone going to Indonesia, but being on a boat and traveling. I mean, the first thing I think of is like, she's on this tiny boat. Like, is she getting seasick? Is she getting bored? Is she scared? Are there storms? I mean, like, my head just goes to all these crazy places. But she's just out there and surviving. She's this beautiful young woman making amazing progress for the world and introducing people to so many things and witnessing it all firsthand. And it's really, really inspiring. And I just want to remind all of you watching that all of you can do it. Anyone can do it. I remember meeting her right when she was getting started. Next thing I know, she's been traveling around the world on small boats for years now. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more and more amazing. So travel is important. I would love to hear everyone else's travel stories. What are some of your most memorable moments from your travels? Where would you like to go? Where do you plan on going? Not just like a bucket list place, but you got to make it happen. So setting that intention, visualizing it. Where are you going to go in the next year? Next 5 years? I want to hear that. And what are you going to do there? How is it going to change your life? And what is it going to take for you to get there? What have you learned from your past traveling experiences? How has it shifted your life? And if you have anything else to add in my response to Sandra, please do so, and be sure to check her out. I really think that all of you are going to connect with her, and let's welcome her into this community and help her grow, and in turn she will help you grow, and we'll all grow together. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more outside of this YouTube channel, check out the main Eco Vegan Gal YouTube channel, and check out ecovegangal.com, which is really the hub for everything that I do. And all the social media networks are listed in the description field down below, as well as on ecovegangal.com. Being part of the community there is really how we expand this message, so please chime in, please get involved. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, make sure to do so that you know when the next video is coming up. And I will see you then.